Guys, before we start episode 200 of the podcast, before the bloody party begins, we're going on tour, as you guys know. And we're going to Bendigo next. Geelong, hopefully, will go ahead. There's a few tickets left to that now. Melbourne, Adelaide, Bunbury, Perth, Hervey Bay, Canberra, Cairns, Townsville, Mackay, Rockhampton, Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Launceston, and Hobart. Coming bloody everywhere, and I'd love to see you there. LukeKidgell.com. What were we doing in the background? Yeah, I'm glad. Don't do it on me, because then I'm... enjoy the episode 200. Yes. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 200 of this podcast is finally here. 4 years of speaking to myself like a schizophrenic. Thanks for being here. Honestly. Yes. So sweet. We still don't have our buttons, so it's just a phone today. Welcome back, everyone. Episode 200. It's a party. I got a party hat on. Some people probably just thought I was cosplaying as a wizard. Not true. I have a Woolies party hat on with a dinosaur on it. Yeah. Pretty cool. There were limited options. Now, to start off the episode this week, we have a celebratory buzzer, not sent in by anyone, just to commemorate the occasion of episode 200. Let's hit it, Reese. You got to put up the mic. Hallelujah. Great. Hang on. No, that was the time to stop it. Yeah, great. Let's do it. Guys, 200 episodes. If this is the first time you've tuned in, hey, come at a great time. Today we're going to be doing some reminiscing, some storytelling. We don't honestly have too much planned. We'll admit the party hats were about as... That's pretty much all we did for episode 200. Everyone was going to be like, man, wonder what they're going to do for the big milestone. They're going to come up with some crazy shit. I tried, trust me. I wanted to buy sparklers, and Reese wouldn't let me. I grabbed sparklers off the shelf, and he was like, you can't do that inside. They'll start a fire. And I realized I've been doing sparklers inside for years.
No, I was saying the fire alarm would go off. Then you might have to pay for a call-out fee. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, but how smoky your sparklers getting? Open a window, you'll be fine. Because what about those cakes that have the candles, the sparkler candles?
True.
We've been doing them inside for years.
True.
We're not talking I wasn't trying to buy fireworks or like a bomb, by the way. Just a kid's sparkler. We should have bought the horns, the ones. And Reese, for audio listeners, has gone the double party hat look, the devil look, because he, rock on. Yeah. He's a Satanist, and or he's just like a big fan of Tenacious D.
Yeah. The Pick of Destiny.
Yes. Great film, and the only Satan reference that I really understand. So, guys, welcome. And we're in Newcastle currently in an Airbnb, living it up. I didn't go the double hat look, but get this, Reese, thinking of wearing the second hat as like a cool necklace.
Ooh, yeah.
Hang on. I accidentally just put it on my nose. I look like a duck. No, we wear one as a necklace, and then like one... This is an audio podcast, and this is a pretty fucking 3 out of 10 visual gag.
There you go.
No, worth it. Glad we persisted with it. Great. So now the clips are just going to be fucked from this episode. They're going to be like, why was he wearing a party hat on his neck? He's trying to hide a hickey or something. It's so annoying. Everyone always messages me on Instagram that I have hickeys. I hate this necklace. I'm taking it. Fuck me. Everyone always messages me on Instagram like, oh, you got a hickey. Like, is that really the most plausible thing? That like a guy who's in a long-term relationship, just like Meg's constantly giving me hickeys. Like, who do you think gives them to me? Some guy's like, oh, did Reese give you a hickey? No, he didn't. That would be a HR issue. And I don't think Reese, has the sucking power.
No, probably not.
You don't even have what it takes, bro.
No.
Okay, I was hoping for some more A little more pushback from me there. So, yeah, we're in Newcastle, and I did the first Newcastle show last night. A few things happened. So, I've been in New South Wales for a couple of days now. So, a few days. We came down from the Goldie. And, man, Wollongong was so much fun. What happened there? Oh, just some real disrespectful shit. Some bloke just like, don't be that guy, you know? There was a guy who snuck into my show. I just thought it was funny. I think he thought I was mad about it, but I thought it was funny. There was this guy, and as we were chatting in the crowd, it kind of turns out that he didn't pay for a ticket. He didn't know anyone there. He was just sitting there. He was wearing a poncho, and he was just like being a full weirdo. And then his name was also River. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, and I met a girl named Somerset the other night.
Ooh.
Her parents ran with Somerset, and then she told me that she's like, oh yeah, when I turned like 16, my mum was like, oh, by the way, if you want to change it, I totally understand. Like, she just completely regretted her daughter's name. I've met a lot of people this tour with fucked names. You always have to ask people when you sign their posters, like, oh, they're like, oh, my name's Alex. And you're like, oh, great, how do you spell that? And they look at you like, huh? Because sometimes you get just like, oh, there's a silent T. I met a Brittany or Brittany or something like that. Wasn't it in Adelaide? Because the dad just wrote the name wrong on the birth certificate, and then they just ran with it. They just spelt it wrong accidentally. And, geez, that's the most bogan shit ever. To just, like, spell it wrong and be like, good luck forever. You're just setting up your kid. I would never name, if I ever have kids, I'm never going to name them, like, something where they have to explain the spelling every time. You know, like, you always meet, like, a Claire, and then, like, and there's, like, oh, it's a triple R and the double E at the end. It's like, why would you do that to your kid? They have to say that every time they say the name to someone. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I met this dude in my Sydney show. You know, if you want to cast your minds back to a couple of weeks ago, I did some talk about getting into some honest sex work where I had an offer on my Instagram to sell socks of mine, sweaty, stanky socks, send them to Perth, I believe it was, for $100. Now, I'll be honest, I keep forgetting about it. Mainly because there's two reasons. One, we've been very busy and I guess distracted, putting the tour on sale and just doing shows every night this week pretty much. That hasn't helped. But also, I've really offloaded my post office duties this year. I don't really go to the post office anymore. Meg pretty much does all the merch now. So, Ben, there's old episodes of this podcast titled like War with the Post Office Lady. I used to have grudges and I had to get out of there. It was not a safe space for me because I used to crack the shits at people getting paid $25 an hour because they fucking charge you at the ass to send a fucking t-shirt to Tasmania, you know? But anyway, yeah. So I've offloaded that, which means I don't go to the post office anymore. And I think I don't want to be the boyfriend that goes to my girlfriend like, hey, when you're sending off some of the merch, can you also just send off my socks so some bloke in Perth can jack off to them? I don't really want to be that guy in my relationship. So I think that's half the reason why I haven't sent them is because I always do forget. When I do remember, I don't want to go to the post office myself. Just can't be fucked. And I also don't want to be the guy that... And Meg, by the way, Meg, she's like, yeah, I'll send them off. I will. She's pro my sex work, which is great. But since I've had this offer and I've talked about it on Luke and Lewis and this podcast, oh boy, the floodgates have opened. I got a guy, he was definitely underage, which is why I didn't do it, right? And that's the only reason. Because he was there with his uncle, so he must have been underage. He was at my show. He tried to buy the socks off my feet after my Sydney show in the meet and greet line. He offered me $75 cold hard cash. Just like, take them off right now. And I was like, mate, I need socks. You know, and I should have been like, mate, you're 17. But the reason I gave was, I need to wear socks. And I was like, no, I'm not giving you my socks. There's no chance that's happening. And he just couldn't fathom why. He's like, but this is what you do. You know, it was almost like why he came. He was just like, oh, well, the show was great, but I came here for those stanky boys. And what was weird was I kind of thought at first the guy was doing it as a bit, like, oh, it's a podcast reference. Because some people do overthink things in the line with what they say to you after the show. A classic example was we had a bit of banter in one of the Sydney shows about a fetish that involved guys wearing belts and just belts, like a leather belt around their naked body, and that was it. And for some reason, that was the fetish. And some guy just clearly had 45 minutes in the queue to like, all right, what am I going to say to Luke? You know, I'm a big podcast fan. I'm going to make him laugh. He took off his belt that he was wearing, rolled it up, and then went, hey, mate, do you want this? And I was like, no. And he went, oh. And then his friend goes, I fucking told you, bro, he wasn't going to laugh. And then he had to slowly put the belt through his buckle rung by rung and just go, oh, yeah.
You ruined his night.
Pardon?
You ruined his night.
Oh, well, I will laugh if it's funny. I'm not going to force out a laugh. I'm not going to fake it. Like, that would be also wrong, to just pretend laugh at people's shitty attempts. That's why I thought the guy offering my socks, so I was like, oh, he's just trying to have a laugh. So I'm kind of playing along with it. And I was like, yeah, right. And he goes, no, seriously. I was like, oh, do you actually have this fetish? And then he just goes, I don't know, I might. And then I just looked at him like, so do you? And then his uncle just looks at me like, uncle, by the way, not doing anything. Not like going, all right, mate, that's probably enough. He doesn't want to sell you his socks. The uncle's kind of just going, come on, mate, give him your socks. And I'm just like, what kind of a fucking parent/guardian are you at this event where you're trying to get me to sell socks in a sexual manner to an underage kid who's your nephew? What the fuck? So, guys, I didn't sell the socks to him. So I do have a few saucy offers in my DMs. Ooh. Yeah. But I haven't even sent off one. So I can't promise prompt delivery. I'm delivering socks at the rate of Australia Post right now. 6 months to never. You'll receive those. I will do it. I keep saying I'll do it, but maybe this week I have a week off shows. So maybe I can make it my mission. Must send socks.
Send them out. Yeah,
I need like a to-do list. It's like honest sex work, tick. So yeah, that's one thing that happened. Last night at my Newcastle show, something rattled me before the show. Great venue, great staff, lovely people. But we ordered chips, right? I hadn't eaten dinner. I always forget to eat. I'm weird. It'll get to like 7 p.m. Show's about to start. And I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten since breakfast. And then Meg will be like, you are a child. And she'll run to the bar, order me some chips or something for backstage. She did that last night. And now, again, cannot stress enough. Very accommodating venue, accommodating people. Something just absolutely baffled me and all of us before the show. We ordered chips. 10 minutes later, the chips came out. I'll describe the chips to you and we'll also chuck a photo up here. Pretty... Look, the presentation of the chips was low to mid-tier for a pub, let's just say that. It was just nothing fancy, not even in a bowl, no sauce, no aioli, just chips on a plate, kind of just like dumped on a plate. And then they had 20 plus, I'm not exaggerating, about 20 sachets of salt. Sachets, not salt that had come from sachets. Sachets dumped on top of the chips. The staff member walked up to me and said, here's your chips. And I said, oh, thanks. I kind of looked at them confused and she said, I put salt on them for you. And then she turned around and walked away. Now, we were all confused. Was she joking? Or was it like a bit where she's like, we salted them because they weren't salted.
Yeah.
They were just dumped like, it's kind of like, you know, when you get the little sugar sachets at a hotel and you have to open up the sugar and pour the sugar on. They were like that, but with salt. Mm. So it was just potato with paper served on them. It blew my mind. And I still to this day cannot figure out, I mean, it's the next day. I haven't thought about it for too long, but I still haven't thought about, like, it's all I was thinking about during the show.
Yeah.
You know, I was on another planet during the show because I was just like, is that how they serve chips? If it is, great, not knocking it. I mean, I am a bit, you know, maybe just salt them before. It doesn't even make sense for so many reasons. One, we used 3 of the sachets to salt all the chips, and that was heaps. I probably oversalted them. 2 would have been plenty, right? But there was just 17 sachets that we didn't use. So that suggested to me that it was like, could be a bit.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't know, maybe this is who knows. The second reason as to why it was a bit was she kind of smirked when she said it, and I was like, okay. But I also didn't understand the joke. Mm. What was the joke?
Yeah.
The joke being like, I put salt in them for you, and the joke was like, this is not traditionally how you salt chips. And also, just from the chef's standpoint, how hard is it to have just a big salt shaker and salt all the chips that you're cooking up at once for all the meals at once, mix them up, salt them again, and then plate them?
Yeah.
Dude, it blew my mind.
Should we do another order tonight?
And see if they do the same thing? I just worry we're going to get the same thing. And yeah, true. Then we'll know if it's a joke or not. Because then we'll be like, oh, that's just how they serve chips.
Yeah.
Is this a New South Wales thing? Is this just random? It was wild. I've never got that before ever. And I've ordered a lot of chips in my time. No one's ever been like, it was like DIY salt. You know what? It was deconstructed chips, which is crazy. It was like a hipster thing, but very Newcastle. So, it was a bit of fun though. Good show. And all the shows are still on sale. LukeKidgell.com. Perth, I think a quarter of the tickets are gone for the big show.
Ooh.
Which is crazy. So thank you all very much. Keep on getting them. That sounds cool, but that means there's also 3/4 of the room not full. So I'd appreciate if you all came. Then after this leg, Canberra's sold out, but then I'm coming back there. We've got Bendigo. Melbourne, there's still some ticks left from the rescheduled shows. Adelaide, we're coming back. Bunbury, Perth, biggest show of my career. Canberra, Hervey Bay, Townsville, Mackay, Rockhampton, Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Launceston, and Hobart. Get on down. Reece.
Yep.
One thing we've been talking about quite a bit, just behind the scenes, is we on our long drives, we do a lot of driving on this
we
tour.
love road.
Dude, we froth the Pacific Highway here. Something about this highway makes me loopy though. All these shows have been weird. I think it's the highway. Reece has travelled up and down this highway so many times. He's driven from Melbourne to Gold Coast. This is all in the space of a couple of weeks. Then Gold Coast back down where he came from to Wollongong, then back up to Newcastle, and then tomorrow back down to Sydney.
Yeah,
you love road.
I
dude.
do. But I'm gonna get a little bit of a break from it, then hit it hard again in August.
Yeah, I know that's gonna be heaps of road. But doing Melbourne to Cairns in a car, that's road. A lot of sugarcane on side of road as well. A lot of fence and a lot of all touring really is just choosing which truck which truck stops you should or shouldn't shit in. That's pretty much the game. And it's just pulling over at regional KFCs and getting underwhelmed every time. And also reading facts on the wall about the Colonel.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that. He died in 1984, wasn't it?
He was 74?
74. Something 4. Okay, well, I don't retain
You didn't
the
pay
facts.
attention much.
No, I don't retain the facts, but I do read them and enjoy them in the moment. So yeah, one thing we've been doing in the car, I guess just to pass the time / it's just good chat. Reece has started, because Reece works with them closely, has started ranking the sound techs on tour and creating like a tier list. Well, you should do a tier list video on the channel of just you ranking sound techs of the tour. And every show, if you don't know, we get like a different guy who runs the sound and lighting at the show. And you get great ones. A few examples. Dazza from Melbourne. Brad from Shepparton and Ballarat. We love Brad here. A few real standouts. Then, and again, I'm not gonna throw shade or mention names, but the Wagga guy could have been more accommodating to our needs.
Yep.
That's what I'm gonna say. He could have been more enthusiastic to be there. I don't think he cracked a smile once during the show. There was Felix in Sydney the other night. Bit of a serious operator, Felix.
Yeah.
So can you give us... So, by the way, if you're thinking this is a one-off segment, it's not. Throughout the rest of the tour, we will be ranking sound techs of the tour. Do you just do something in your hand?
No, Meg told me you need to pick up your phone.
Oh, okay, great. Guys, are just going to do some business. We'll cut the podcast. All right, we're back. So, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, this is a regular segment now. This will be a thing we'll be doing throughout the year. Is it unprofessional? Absolutely. Yeah, this information should stay behind the scenes. But we had a suggestion from Alec, who listens to the podcast. He said we should be... And this was before we'd already thought of this before he even sent that
Yeah.
in. He had a similar idea. He's like, boys, I would love it if you started rating your rider / pre-show meals of every show of the tour, ranking them out of 10, giving us a flavor test,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that.
Not a
And
bad
he
idea.
kicked it off. He said, I got dinner beforehand at the Pato RSL, which is where I did my Sydney show. And he goes, mate, Palmer was great, $15 and $7 pint. So big investments all round. Yeah, he pretty much printed cash off that. So yeah, we can do you one better, Alec. We're gonna even give you a behind the scenes peek of what it's like to be Reese at the shows. And I think Reese's number one favorite sound tech was Darren from the Comedy Festival. Now I think here's the thing. I liked a few of them, right?
Yeah.
There's a few have been great. I understand why you've gone Darren number one. And by the way, we're just with full disclosure, we know Brad listens to the podcast. So ballsy move that Reese has still gone Darren number one, because I don't think Darren does listen.
No.
Right? But Brad does. And Brad's going to hear this.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, how dare you?
I know.
Why wasn't I
I'm probably
number
gonna
one?
get a message
You're
from
going to
you.
get a DM immediately after this. Why Darren over Brad?
I love the energy, mate.
Yeah. He worked at Hillsville Sanctuary, so every day he always had a good story to tell about like a crocodile, or talking to some snotty kids or something like that. Just like because he does like the presenting at Hillsville at some of the exhibits.
Yep.
And I think the loyalty, because it was 23-night run, I think the friendship and the bond that you guys created throughout helped. And
made some memes on the come again.
He did after the show. If you have seen my show this year, you'll know it's quite a cum-heavy show. I talk about cum a lot, and we were kind of joking behind the scenes that the show should be called On the Cum instead of On the Run. And he did send a couple memes afterwards where he changed the wording of the tour poster, slapped cum on there, and shot it through.
Yeah.
And since then, Darren has actually sent me upwards of 2 to 3 cum-related memes with the caption, "This reminded me of you." So that's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that from the sound techs. We actually have a lot of sound techs message us afterwards.
Yeah.
You know who's not going to shoot us a message afterwards? Felix.
But the problem with Felix is I forgot to log out of my Spotify account on his laptop.
Reese keeps doing this. So we run our pre-show music through a Spotify playlist. And then Reese always logs into his Spotify account on their computers, and then half the time forgets to log out after the show. So Reese is just going to start copying fucked music recommendations, because they'll probably accidentally use his account, listen to whatever weird shit they're into. And then Reese is going to like, geez, I don't like, who's that guy? Andre Rieu? You know, like I don't enjoy like the dulcet tones of, I don't really, Roy Orbison, for example. Yeah, I know you're just not a big Roy Orbison fan.
Just reminded me, I forgot to do it last night on their laptop at the South Merriweather.
We're going back tonight, so it's fine. Now, here's an interesting one, and this is another reason why I'm shocked that you've gone with Darren number one, is because last night you entered the sound tech game, and Reese had to sound tech the show.
I did.
So you didn't even rank yourself number one.
No.
A bit low on confidence. You're like, mate, I'm no Daz. All right, so who's your top 3 so far?
So Daz the top 1. 2 has to be Brad.
Yeah.
I love Brad here.
Yeah.
He was great because like we would roll in.
Ooh,
he would have
Brad.
everything set.
For those who may have watched the vlog, they may have got a glimpse of Brad in one of the recent vlogs on my YouTube channel at the Shepparton and Ballarat shows. Brad was really accommodating. It was one of the first shows of the tour, and I liked Brad because firstly he hit me up and offered to do the gig and gave me a great deal. So I was already pro Brad before we got there. Then when we got there, we were all a bit unsure, particularly Ruben had an absolute panic attack over what walkout song he was going to choose. He landed on Walkin' on Sunshine, which has remained a consistent theme of the tour.
Yeah, we trialled some.
And that was Brad's doing.
Yeah, we
Brad
trialled
just
Back
hit
in
it.
Black as well.
Yeah, Back in Black just was not Ruben's vibe. Coming on to just, AC/DC. He tried to do one of these ones. I think like, dun, and it just didn't fit. Walking on Sunshine, though, a lot more festive, a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But that was Brad's doing.
It was.
So he actually impacted the show moving forward. And has also sent me a few cum-related memes since the show. And
That seems
actually,
to be the big impression that you leave on these sound texts is just cum.
I think that's the impression that I leave on everyone who comes to my show this year is they go like, geez, one of the best cum-based comedians in the country. It was just accidentally a cum-heavy show this year.
Yeah.
I wrote, the fog bit hint is quite cum-heavy. There's another bit early on the show that's quite literally about cum.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other references to semen throughout the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Brad checks in after shows as well. He goes, how was Adelaide? Fog bit go off? ? So he's still kind of keen on hearing how the rest of the tour plays out, which I love. You know who's a bit of an underdog for me? Emo Aaron from Albury.
Yeah, I was going to chuck him in third.
He had a pink front fringe, looked like he could have been the bassist of a pop punk band that never made it.
Yeah.
And great guy, real quiet operator, didn't say much, but got the job done, went in, got out. I didn't even get to say bye to him, but Aaron from Albury did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is interesting to people, but I feel like the more we, people will really go, oh, I can't believe, someone's overtaken Emo Aaron. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And just, you know who else is on the list? And at the bottom of mine, Jack and Simo, my brother and his mate, organised the sound and light. Didn't organise someone for Warrnambool to actually tech the show. So they just did it. And it was all it was just Simo standing on a chair trying to operate lights that he didn't know how to use beforehand.
Yeah.
So they're an F tier. They're at the bottom of the list for sure.
Yeah. On your list, where do I rank from last night's performance?
You were really stressed out during it, but it wasn't your fault because the aux cord was fucked.
Yeah.
And at the start of every song, you had to press play on the song again.
I had to quickly pause it because for some reason, every time it would go to a new song, it would skits out. And I figured out that if you would pause it and then play it again, it would work.
Yeah. You're I don't think you handled the pressure well, but I think you did a great job.
Yeah. Tonight I'll improve on it.
Yeah.
Won't be a stress tonight.
You were just a stress head. But no, you weren't stressing me out. You were just stressing yourself
I
out.
know.
I was like, man, it's Newcastle.
Because I didn't want you guys to walk out to a song that was skitsing out.
Dude, you could have been fucking farting in the microphone, beatboxing with your ass, and I wouldn't have given a shit.
True.
It was fun. And I'm just trying to think if we missed anyone. Daz from Melbourne. Adelaide. Oh, he was a nice guy. I've forgotten his name, the guy with the beard.
Yeah, no, he was good. I had to do a bit that night as well.
Oh, okay. You weren't impressed with the fact that he didn't jump at the walk-on songs? You were playing the walk-on songs?
Yeah, I was on the fading because he was running behind the bar.
But you know what? He had good energy.
He did.
Yeah. Big Adelaide.
He kept giving me free beer, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I was going to say, why are you complaining?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And then there was Geelong.
Oh, yeah, the dad from
Hoppers
Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out because his daughter once, or he was part of a dance troupe that did the same venue.
Yeah.
He saved the day, actually, because there was no microphone at the venue.
Yeah.
And if he bought one in his car as a backup, it ended up being the one we ended up using. Otherwise, would have had to scream the show to the crowd.
Yeah.
Which would have been fucked. So, yeah, great. Well, great. Our top three is Darren, Brad, and Emo Aaron. Yeah, great. Okay, and you're fourth. You're still coming fourth. I would actually rank Rhino Room Guy over you.
Yeah, no, I would as well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd put myself fifth.
You're fifth. Not a great start.
No.
I reckon you can improve. There's definitely going to be a few more shows. We're going to get to Bundaberg and there's going to be no one at the venue.
Yeah.
There's going to be a skeleton of a fucking venue and they're going to there's
Yeah.
There's going to be a 20-watt Marshall guitar amp that is the speakers for the whole show.
Listeners of the podcast at shows now might start paying more attention.
Yeah, I know. And on the night, I wonder if people will be like, mate, how do they rank?
Yeah.
How are they scoring tonight? But yeah, it's been so cool meeting a bunch of people who listen to this podcast every week. It's very lovely. And, a few people actually I've noticed, they're like, man, I've been listening to your podcast for 3 years. I finally made it out to a show. All those years. I'm not begging people to come. Selling a fair few tickets off TikTok and stuff. I reckon half of if you look back over the past 199 episodes, it's probably 40% me just pleading with people to come to shows. They blatantly haven't come. And now this year, when I don't really need them there, they're gone. Mate, I've got you. But I really appreciate everyone coming out. It's so much fun. Guys, do you have disheveled, hairy nuts? Do you want to fix that? Hey, I got you. Manscaped. They're the sponsor of the podcast. And if you use code BASIC, you get 20% off and free shipping. We love Manscaped here. They support the podcast, so support them. And it's seriously a great shaver. Wouldn't you agree? Ribbon, jeez, what a smooth ass you were twerking there. That's because you also own a Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, don't you?
I do. It's actually been really great.
Yeah.
Keeping it all smooth.
Keeping it all smooth. You actually bought it to trim your hole from memory.
Well, you gave it to me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you got one. But if you were to buy it, you'd use...
That's mainly what I use it for, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, asshole trimming. You can use it whatever. You can get creative with it. I trimmed my nips recently.
Ooh.
I got smooth nips.
Ooh.
You know, I just had, I kind of... it's a bit of a Luke and Lewis reference, but Keelan often will just start shaving parts of his body, and he'll be like, I was just bored. I found it fun. The other day, I just did it. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, though. Just like in a room shaving your nipples by yourself. But, guys, if you want to do that, use code BASIC. And, and also for girls as well, you know.
Yep.
Do what you need to down there. Get it done. You know, it's private, sure, but take care of your privates privately. And also it can be used in the shower, which is sweet. It's waterproof. So that's a big game changer in the shaving world. Might fuck your drain depending on how disheveled your pubes are.
Yeah, I've used it in the shower. Went good.
Yeah, and it went all down?
Yeah, went all down.
Yeah,
no
okay,
issues. No issues.
As long as you don't have a plumbing issue.
Yeah.
Because then we're going to have to get sponsored by fucking Reese's Plumbing. Or, you should start up a rival plumbing business to the already Reese's Plumbing.
Yeah.
And we can sponsor the podcast, get you some traction. Yeah. And mainly just unclogging all the pube mishaps that have happened from the Manscaped sponsorship. But guys, manscaped.com.au, back to the podcast. Great. My dad has just messaged me, give me a call ASAP. Dad. Do you reckon I should stop the podcast for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Cool. We're going to stop the podcast. So Dad just called then. He goes, call me ASAP. I thought it was going to be really bad news or something. And then he was at my house just checking up on it and filling up my car with petrol and stuff because I've been away for 3.5 weeks. And he goes, mate, I think you've been robbed. And I go, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, there's clothes everywhere and all your drawers are open. And I was like, no, that's just our house. I was like, Reese has been there. There's a lot of congestion.
Oh, yeah.
Reese gets traffic between walking into the door and my dad just couldn't fathom it. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, is my computer still there and the TV? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't think I've been robbed then. He's like, but there's drawers open. You got clothes on the floor. And I was like, welcome to my life, dude. That's it. Meg had to throw everything. I think Meg just would have got everything out of her drawers and clearly just threw it in the back of a car. Yeah. Because she had to leave in about 2 hours' notice for two weeks. So, anyway, so that's stressed him out. That's funny. Now my mum and dad are just going to be at my house just judging my lifestyle, which is great. What were we talking about?
Just quickly one thing back on the sound tech thing.
Okay, we haven't concluded it.
What does the person, say when we get to the end of the tour, what the person who comes first?
Maybe they could do an interview and we could grant them best sound tech of the tour.
Yeah.
Of something. But geez, Brad, who listens to the podcast, he's going to want that title. Yeah. And currently he's in silver. And I'm not doing the rankings, by the way, because I have to remain impartial. I love all the sound techs. And Felix was great in Sydney.
He was great.
He didn't crack a smile at all, though, throughout the show. Not at all. Here's my favorite thing about Felix. Real serious bloke, right? He's maybe 50 years old. Yeah. He's been around the block. This was not his first rodeo, right? We're backstage. The door's about to open, and he's just like, all right. We're doing doors. Are we all ready to do doors? And I was like, hey, yes, that's fine. You can open the doors. I'll just go backstage. He's like, all right, doors. And 3, 2, 1. And then he went, doors. And then Meg just slowly creaked open the door. And I don't know what he thought. Did he think it was going to be the Boxing Day Maya sales where everyone just fucking barged down the door? It was like, we need to sit at the front of this comedy show. People just slowly walked in. It was so underwhelming. He's like, doors. And then the first person just kind of went in and was like, all right, where should I sit? But I liked his energy. It kind of set a real, it's go time thing. I mean, maybe if we get Brad to do another show. Oh, by the way, I think Brad at one point may have offered to help out with Gimp Fest for Luke and Lewis, which would be huge. Imagine if we should fly Darren up, maybe for the last show. We get Darren to sound tech the last show. Or we could do like a just to end the tour, like a 50-seater podcast listener only show where we get Darren or Brad or whoever ends up winning to really flex their sound tech muscles and give a real sound tech bonanza during the show. Or we just watch them. Oh, we know who we've missed.
Who?
Max from Sydney. I'm going to put him in bronze.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going to put him in bronze.
Oh.
This guy from the first Sydney show, I forgot, I did an extra Sydney show during the week because you guys are too kind and I'm selling out shows everywhere. I'm very successful. Let's move past it. I did a show at the Ports Point Hotel, and the guy who helps Neil Kolhatkar out, I did Neil's show with Frenchie and stuff, Neil and Friends, Will Gibb, a bunch of other great comics. And the guy, dude, I can't believe I didn't trust him. I feel like a goose. I was like, oh, we have our own pre-show playlist. And he's like, oh, okay. And it was a bit apprehensive to play it. And I go, oh, it's fine. You can just play some of your own stuff if you want. I just thought it was being weird about it. And then he goes, no, man, I'll download a couple of your songs and I'll incorporate it in the mix. So I was like, okay, he's going to do like one of my songs, which is just Powderfinger and like Australian bands like Kiss Chasey and Gyroscope. Like that's and Thirsty Merc. That's all I play before my show with a bit of Machine Gun Kelly just sprinkled in there. And then he goes, yeah, I'll download a few. And I was like, what do you usually play? And he goes, oh, hip hop. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Then he did some of the most bold shit I've ever done. I didn't realize he had decks, like DJ decks. Dude, he mixed in Powderfinger with Biggie. It blew my mind.
It was insane.
It was wild. Like on the, like, you know, the Biggie would do the verse and then it would just come in like, my happiness. And me and Reese were at the back going, holy shit. And anyone who was in that crowd, there's a few podcast listeners in, they would have been like, oh yeah, the vibe was set.
Yeah.
Probably that was the best pre-show vibe we've had before any show.
Pre-show vibe, yeah.
Unbelievable. So I would say I'm going to put Max as a bronze. And you know what, Brad? He's giving you a run for silver.
Ooh.
But no, actually he's not, because Brad was so prepared. And Brad let us run cables everywhere.
Yeah,
he
had
really
sick lighting as well.
Yeah, he had sick. Oh, true. Brad's lighting was next level. Yeah. He had like walk-on spinning lights. Okay, Brad, you're still a safe second. But Max's, but Brad, you weren't DJing beats beforehand. So everyone offers something new. But yeah, Max really brought it. Anyway, guys, we'll move on. But this is going to be a regular segment now of the podcast, and I'm here for it. I can't wait. I think it's better than ranking food, because otherwise we would have just been rating Palmers around the country, and everyone would be like, "It's a Palmy, it's a fucking." Dude, I put the word Palmer on my Instagram story for the millionth time the other day, and I just get. All I get is just Palmy, because I was in New South Wales.
Yeah, they keep every time we've been up here and I've ordered one, they always correct me.
They correct you. You go, I'm just gonna get the chicken parma, and they go, so you would like the palmy, and you just have to hold strong as a Victorian, and go, I know I'm in the minority here. It's a parma, and you just have to go balls deep, and double down and pronounce that A. It's Parmigiana, or is it Parmigiana? It's spelt Parmigiana, but it's pronounced Parmigiana. So it's Parma. It's short. It makes sense. Good. Let's conclude the argument. I did have a screaming match with the crowd at my Wagga show about this. They were all chanting Palmy, Palmy, and I was telling them to fuck off. And that was pretty much the energy of my show. Oh, I fucked up again last night at the show. You know how I always say bad shit? I mean, the regular listeners of this podcast know that I don't have a filter. My brain, I just say whatever I think. And yes, that is part of my appeal, but also will be the downfall of my career one day. I wasn't digging myself a hole on stage. I was mining last night. It was bad. There was a guy by himself. He ended up being 33. Look, and I said this out loud. I shouldn't have said that. I dug myself further hole. I saw a somewhat receding hairline, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, right? You can't control it. So I saw that. And then he happened to be sitting next to like a fresh 18-year-old, like a dude.
Yeah.
just make that very clear, fresh. Out of high school, looked young, right? And I was like, oh, maybe the dad looks kind of good for his age and he's with his kid. because I just don't get many like mid-30s dudes coming to my show by themselves. That's not really my vibe. And I just go, oh man, are you a dad? And he just goes, no, I'm here by myself. The whole crowd just goes hush. And I back it up with, oh, sorry, man, I saw your receding hairline and I assumed. Dude, silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I wasn't really going for a laugh. I think in my head, I was like, I'm just going to justify why I said it. And it made the situation worse because then the look on the guy's face was like, oh, and he's got real self-conscious. And then turns out he's like come to my show before and he was a really lovely guy and I felt awful. And guys, that's it. And then there was people from the church in the front row and I have a bit about religion in the show. And oh boy, it was just, it was fine. The room I was doing it in, I felt like I was about to do a TED talk. It was in like the real nice area of Newcastle. Apparently, Merewether, or was it Merewether? I don't know. Merewether is one of the nice places. Apparently, the Toorak of Newcastle. So it was a bit bloody fancy. So yeah, what else do we have to talk about today? Oh, I wanted to give an update regarding the KFC not opening later issue. Man, one of these clips went absolutely bazonkers on TikTok on one of our on the podcast page. A lot of people getting in the argument, which is great. Here's the thing, I wanted answers. A lot of people give me joke answers. I wanted real answers. Apparently, I disagree with this one. The top comment, and this must be from a KFC worker. By the way, just to recap, I think KFCs are missing out on a huge business opportunity not opening often after 10 p.m. Sometimes it goes at 11, 12. Very rarely do you see one open after 2. I think there should be some stores that are capturing that 24-hour market to rival Macca's. Because the only time I feel like I'm speaking on behalf of a fair few people here. The only time you get Macca's is due to availability.
Yeah.
Because it's open. Not because it's no one's first preference, surely. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm in the wrong. I feel like in Australia, at least, most people prefer KFC. Someone's gone, the reason is because the amount of people it takes to keep it open isn't worth the money. It needs a cook, a manager, a drive-through pack, and a box team member. Mate, they pay them like, $25 an hour max? That's worth it. That's $100 an hour. I said this, $200 an hour I reckon it costs them to stay open. And they're already paying the rent. There's no extra cost there.
Yeah, true. So
what's the problem? There's power, electricity, supplies, obviously. I don't know what their profit margins are, but yeah, I just think this is ridiculous. This is why TikTok is just a platform for fucking degenerates. They hear an argument and then they comment something completely irrelevant to the video.
Yeah.
I was talking about why KFC should open longer. The second top comment is just triple cheeseburgers from Macca's are far more superior than Big Macs. So I just started comparing burgers from a different restaurant that I was talking about, which is great. This is a good point. Lol, most of the workers have school the next day. Now, that's something I didn't consider.
Yeah, that's
is that it's hard to find 18-year-olds that are willing to sit there between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. But Macca's have found it.
Yeah.
These people exist, so pay them double. Maybe they have to pay them extra. Oh, they would. They'd have to pay them overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Penalty rates. Yeah, okay, maybe they can't afford to stay open. I just feel like if Macca's can, or maybe Macca's are making a loss at night.
Possibly.
There's no way. The drive-thru is always packed. How
about that Macca's we saw last night?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to love Newcastle before this trip. Newcastle was, actually, I said it on stage, my favourite place in Australia. The crowd was just confused. And then we went out after the show with a couple of people from the Patreon Discord, which, by the way, we're doing if you're in the Discord, we're doing meetups and stuff. We're trying to do it in every place we go to after the show. We always just go out and grab a couple of beers after. It's always a bit of fun. It's fun because you get to kind of see the town with locals.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because usually we just go to all the touristy spots. But yeah, it was funny last night. We're driving through Newcastle. Dude, this Macca's that's open late at night. And by the way, there was a Forte concert that had just finished around the the
Corner.
So there was people just wheeling each other down the street in trolleys. That ended badly. Someone ate shit. And then there was a bunch of guys with no top on. And I don't know what Reese thought I was going to do, but he's like, bro, I got street smarts. We need to move on. And I was like, did you think I was going to try and fight the guy in Newcastle not wearing a shirt at 2 a.m.? How dumb do you think I am? You just got, you know, I would have been like, hello, hello there. And he would have been like, what the fuck? That was a bit of fun. Yeah, then we drove past the Maccas. Dude, there was 2 police cars and 2 security guards just standing there arguing with teenagers. I was like, why the hell is this where our tax dollars go to?
Yeah.
For just people to scream at teenagers like, get your Big Mac and move on, champion, all right? Get your fucking Angus. Oh, let's be honest, they're not even an Angus crowd.
No.
At all. They're not ordering off the deluxe menu.
No.
They're getting fillet of fishes and just fucking off back down the highway.
Yeah.
Like the degenerates that they are. Here's one. I work at KFC, and the honest reason is we need to fully and completely clean certain parts of the cooking stuff, which also needs to dry all night. So the Mac is just not clean. Ew.
Yeah, that's weird.
I never thought about that. Like 24-hour Maccas, like how do they if the fry is always on, because they do hash browns in the same. You've worked fast food.
Yeah.
Do they just cook everything in the same fries?
Pretty much.
Or is there like a burger fryer or a chip
We did have to
fryer?
occasionally change them.
Is there ways to clean them and change them as they go?
Yeah, by memory, ages ago, like you would clear the liquid out.
You're a hungry jack man, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the overnight shift once for Boxing Day, and like we didn't change anything. It just kept everything
It's
going.
so hard to take you seriously standing there with 2 party hats on. Can you flash the camera what you look like from my angle? It's wild. And a lot of people were saying, this is a heartbreaking message I got. Came from Katia, who I think I met at the show the other night. The KFC I worked at in Sydney closed at 8 most nights, which my manager loved, and the only reason they worked at 1. Closing at 8 p.m. It's a restaurant. Well, they're supposed to be a restaurant. You're not even getting the dinner market.
No.
What are you getting? People coming in there for afternoon tea. Like closing at 8 means they wrap up at 7:30. If the doors are shut by 8, they're pushing people out at 7:30, which is dinner time for a lot of people. And for fast food lovers, dinner time is 10 p.m. It's just crazy to me. I don't understand. Like whenever I want KFC, it's always like 9 p.m. and you look it up on Google Maps and it's always like closing soon.
Yeah.
It never says just open. It always says either closing soon or closed. And then you go, oh, fucking hell. And then we always end up at Guzman and Gomez because we don't want to go to Macca's.
Yeah.
Because we're not.
There was a big debate last night.
Oh, huge debate. Yeah. I caught up with a few other comedians in town. People from Luke and Lewis may remember Amos Gill, a few other guys who are here for just doing other shows and stuff. And 2 a.m. at this pub, what was it called? The Lasso Gowrie or something like that. What strange vibe.
Very.
It was a dance floor in a beer garden / courtyard.
Yeah.
And there was a guy standing there, and I cannot stress this enough before I tell this story, just so we're all on the same page. It wasn't 1994. It was last night. There was a guy standing there filming the DJ with a camcorder for presumably half an hour. I reckon he'd been standing there for, just kind of grooving along, filming his set, not on a mobile phone, on a camcorder with like a flip out screen and like like the ones that dads used to do on family videos where they're like, hey mate, Luke, don't touch that. Hang on, Chaz, can you hold this? And then, mum will be filming the ground while dad's trying to get my fucking hand out of a bin or some shit. And then we're all watching this back when we're adults going, what memories? Thanks, Dad. You watched me fucking bin dive like an ibis when I was 4. That's awesome. You know, there's this fucked family video that we have, and it's like the most cruel thing of all time. And it makes me sad and uncomfortable thinking about how uncomfortable I would have been. You know, have you noticed that I can't do rocks in my shoes? Like whenever I have like the slightest bit of something in my shoe, I just take off my shoe and fix it.
I've never noticed it.
I do it frequently.
Oh,
Really?
I
Mate, be more observant of my. But can you like just say if a little rock gets in there, do you just leave it in there? Yeah, fuck it.
Oh no, I normally take it out.
No, but if it's like tiny, it's not.
Oh, if it's not bothering me bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Rock
See, I
it.
know a lot of people just like, oh, it's just fine. I'll just leave it in there.
Yeah.
I can't do that. There's this video of me when we went to Puffing Billy when I was like 2. I don't know. I was in a pram. I don't know how old you are in prams, but I was in a pram, whatever. I had shoes on, and I was crying all day. And Ruben's just walked by. Welcome to episode 200, Ruben.
So good to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. All right.
Sorry, I just got to run.
Okay. Bye. Where are you going?
I'm going to get the washing.
I was going to get the washing. Oh, great. Yeah, we're so stupid that we put on washing earlier and then realized we didn't turn on the tap. We really do nothing right around here.
No.
It's everything we do.
We lose keys, we lose everything.
Oh, I lost. Oh, no, I didn't. I may or may not have lost the key at the Meriton the other day.
Yeah.
And I wasn't lying. She goes, "Where's the second key?" I said, "Oh, it's up in the room," which I think it was,
Yeah.
but I just lost it in the room. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get charged by that. I probably will get charged for it. But if anyone from the Meriton's listening, obviously that was a joke. This is all performance and satire, and I would never lie. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, this fucked family video. I'm crying all day at Puffing Billy. I don't know if this is interesting to anyone, but it's like, wow, how was episode 200? Yeah, he just like told this weird story about how he cracked his shits as a kid. And I was crying all day. And then at the end of the day, my parents were like, "Oh my God, Luke's being so annoying today. Like, this has been the worst day." I ruined the day for everyone, apparently. My brother, who was older, like ruined the day for him because he wanted to go on the train. They had to go home early. My mum, they get home and they realize they took off my shoes. My shoes are just full to the brim. Like, I don't know how it happened, of rocks. So this whole day, and I was so young, I couldn't be like, "Hey, Mom and Dad, there's rocks." I had to just cry and be like, "Understand me." And I've watched this video. It breaks my heart watching it, knowing how much discomfort. Because as an adult, I fucking hate one rock being in there.
Yeah.
Imagine if there's just an avalanche in your shoe.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me when I was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bullshit. So anyway, family videos are wild. It's mainly just, you know what else gets caught a lot on family videos? A lot of nude action as a kid.
Yeah.
Is that reflective in your family videos as well?
Yeah.
A lot of in the backyard sprinklers.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I don't know how that goes. I feel like, it's not that weird, That's good, mate. Just keep doing the washing in the background of the podcast. Did you have to bring up the clothes horse from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sorry, guys, just a bit of admin. What was I saying?
Talking about your shoe. Yeah. Oh, no, family, home, how.
Oh, yeah. It's always, I don't know if this is relatable to anyone, but there's just the hectic amount of Luke cock. Oh, that's probably not relatable unless your name's Luke. There's a hectic amount of just running around. I was a big fan of tricycle nudity when I was a child, just in the backyard. Very rarely wore pants. It would seem if you just watch my family videos, and it's just funny that my dad says that they go like and just doesn't not even being like, "Oh mate, you should probably put some undies on."
Yeah,
my dad's just going, "How you going there, mate? Going pretty fast." Just ignoring the fact that mum just hanging fucking schlong in the backyard. My dad actually sent me a ripper painting I did as a kid the other day, and we can put this in too. It's signed by Luke K at the top, probably by my kindergarten teacher. I've depicted me and Dad, and I straight up just look like a rotisserie chicken. That's how I've drawn myself. And I've drawn my dad with what appears to be a humongous green schlong. My dad was very thrilled at the artist's interpretation, except it also looks like he has gangrene, which is pretty fucked. So, I was quite the artist. I've always been an artist, and now I just channel it in different ways, which is great. But anyway, this guy was just like filming this DJ on like a camcorder that a dad would use on a family holiday, and it was the most 90s shit I've ever seen. This place is stuck in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like that, dude. During the rugby game, the fact that I called it rugby really outed myself as a foreigner last night. During league or whatever they call it, they do $4 schooners at the place we're doing the venue at, and that's the 2-rack of
that's crazy.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's the nice rich people. Like everyone at the venue was like, "Oh, buddy, rich bastards live around here," and I'm like, they're rich because you guys have $4 schooners.
Yeah.
I'd be rich as well if I saved $6 on every fucking beer that I got in Melbourne. I'd have a house by now. You know, $4 schooners. You know, it wouldn't have to take out a loan. The banks must be fucked here because, you know, everyone's just, you know, who's not making money? The people who run the pubs. They'd be poor as fuck. Maybe that's why it's just the circle of life here because people at the pub couldn't be able to afford more than a $4 schooner because they're not charging enough. Yeah, great. And what was I talking about?
We were talking about like the fast food debate that happened at the venue.
So this was on stage last night. I just had a brain aneurysm. There was like 30 seconds where my brain didn't work, and I said, where I was trying to say where I come from. I just go, where I come into the microphone, and the crowd was just like, what? Like, where did he come? Like, here, ew. It was wild. Yeah, I can't think. And then the plan is, by the way, I'm going to stay in Sydney for a couple of weeks, I think, so I can do my Canberra show, so I don't have to cancel that. Reese is going home, which is sad. I'm going to have to rank that sound tech without you if you can't come up for it. But, it's just, you know, that's going to be it. That's the rest of the tour. So, guys, get down. We appreciate it. Have we done an hour?
53 minutes.
Oh, that's close enough. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Chucking a Luke and Meg clip right here. Boom, here it is. I'm pretty sure they were just building the foundations of the pyramids when we last released an episode of this.
Yeah, like
somewhere
BC.
around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure like the dinosaurs were still walking the earth.
Yeah. You know what I just realized then in BC, they wouldn't have known that they were in BC yet because Christ wasn't around.
Yeah.
So like before what? Who?
Yeah.
Christ.
What was time?
What's that? And that means before that, no one went, Jesus Christ, when they stubbed their toe.
No, what do you think they said? Like if you stub your toe.
Oh, King Tut. I don't know. Just like whoever was like the pharaoh or the god at the time, you know. Didn't they worship cats? Oh, fucking pussy. I don't know. I wasn't around. Yeah, great. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast over the years, ladies and gentlemen. That is very kind. Reese has come on board recently, and great to have you on board, mate.
Thank you.
You've been a great addition and a well-loved addition
to
the podcast. Reese is up to his 5th photo after the shows with podcast fans.
Yeah.
And you know what, mate? Bit of a hit with the ladies, I've noticed after the shows. Reese is too humble to admit it, but you know, the girls, you know, like that Android vibe. You know, look, some guys will blatantly just, you know, say rude shit to you.
Yeah,
you know,
doesn't matter.
People, when Reese will sometimes take some photos, and people need a photo taken. People are just shocked that sometimes Reese can't get the phone to take the photo, and they're like, "Mate, this is one of your kind.
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Which is evidence against you not being a robot. I'm still not convinced. Yeah.
We never did a test.
Is there a test? Oh, right, the online test where you go like, which one of these images does not contain a bicycle? Yeah, I reckon you'd fail that 10 out of 10 times. I like that that's supposed to stump a robot.
Yeah.
Couldn't you write an algorithm where it detects bicycles? Probably. I don't know, I'm not a nerd. But, guys, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Episode 200. We still have yet to do episode 100. Bit of an update there from 2 years ago with Osher. First and foremost is I don't think he likes me, which makes me sad because I'm a big fan, but I poo-pooed that relationship. Mainly the Luke and Lewis fan base poo-pooed that relationship by commenting on his streams all the time. And I think, I feel like we salved that because people often ask me like, whatever happened with Osh? And I'm like, well, you guys harassed him. And I didn't actually encourage it because wasn't I trying to play cool at the start?
Yeah.
Trying to get on. And I think I was trying to play cool with Osh. Definitely blew that. But hopefully I really hope that Osh and I one day can, you know, make amends and build a rapport.
Yeah.
That would be the dream of my podcast is to get Osher on and, you know, just say sorry on behalf of the thousands of teenagers that ruined his bike riding live streams on Twitch. But, that's it. Episode 200. It's been quite a journey. I think 4 years. I started this podcast early 2017, I think. So over 4 years we've been going for, which means I've missed a fuckload of episodes because I probably should be up to about 230 by now. But, thank you all very much for tuning in and support the podcast on Patreon if you're not already. The Luke and Meg podcast is a lot of fun. And what else? That's it. Come see a show, lukekidgell.com, and give yourself a bloody pat on the back. And let's play that hallelujah buzzer. We're at the end. How'd the washing go, Ruben? Great. What an end. A washing update. And hallelujah. All right. Goodbye.